It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to sound off on this because it's just getting ridiculous. Like, these fighters keep calling Conor Benn out, and it's really, I know it's giving Eddie Hearn a big ego stroke. I know that it's giving Conor Benn a big ego stroke, and it's getting to the point where it's like, man, y'all say Conor Benn ain't no star, and even I was saying he ain't no star, but all the stars are calling him out. So if all the stars are calling him out, what does that make him, you know? But I wanted to touch on one thing I saw in particular, right? Because Danny Garcia, shout out to Danny Garcia. You know, Danny Garcia has had a fruitful career in the sport of boxing. He's been champion at 140. He's been champion at 147. He was even trying to become champion at 160 before him and Lara didn't fight. But nonetheless, he called out Conor Benn. And I'm a little surprised because Danny Garcia, like a lot of PBC fighters these days, he's semi-retired. Like, he's not really fighting a lot. You don't really hear much about him. But he saw what my boy Pistol Pete Dobson was doing to Conor Benn. Obviously, in the counter-punching department, being able to push Conor Benn back. And he's calling for the fight. He feels like he can fight Conor Benn next and beat Conor Benn. Now, let's talk about that fight because, you know, Conor Benn is very beatable. We know, like let's be real. He's improved over the years. He's not as bad as he was when he fought such a penoid, but he's beatable. Very, very beatable. And Danny Garcia is a wildly veteran. He's a veteran at this point. He's a guy that I think he's an elite counterpuncher. He's very durable. He's never been stopped. He's never even been knocked down. You know, as my good buddy Paul would say, Danny Garcia never been on the canvas. You know, he's very durable. So if Conor Benn were able to even drop Danny Garcia, that would actually be a statement because it doesn't happen. And Danny's fought some punchers, right? I think that fight could do good business, honestly. I don't know how realistic it is that it happens because, for one, Danny Garcia doesn't fight very often, and Danny Garcia is a guy that's made real money in boxing. So if Eddie Hearn wants to get Danny Garcia and get his services in the ring to fight Conor Benn, they're going to have to pony up some real money to get Danny Garcia to fight Conor Benn. But stylistically, it's a good fight. You know, I think Danny's beatable as well. He's older. He's not active. Danny isn't a high volume guy, so in some ways he's similar to Pete Dobson in that way, where he's not going to throw a lot of punches, but he will, at his best, his best qualities were his counter punching and his timing. But the thing about it is, Danny Garcia hasn't been fighting often, and when you're not active and you're not sharp and you're not match fit, the main thing that gets affected the most is your timing. So the main thing that could be a hindrance to Danny Garcia is his counter punching. So if Conor Benn fought Danny Garcia, I don't think he'd knock him out, but he could definitely outwork him. He could definitely out-hustle him in the same kind of way he did with Pete Dobson, you know, where he's throwing a lot of punches, and maybe he doesn't hurt him, and maybe he doesn't drop him or anything like that. But he could outwork him and win a decision and get a really good name on his resume because, you know, I spoke to Conor Benn. I actually spoke to Conor Benn the day after the fight. At the Cosmopolitan, because I had to go see somebody at the Cosmopolitan the day after the fight. And while I was talking to the person that I was seeing that day, Conor Benn happened to be in the lobby, so I talked to him for a little bit. We had a little chat, and he even told me himself, like, you know, when he fought Pete Dobson, he really wasn't up for the fight. The fight didn't really do a whole lot for him as far as, you know, his motivation is concerned. Danny Garcia, I think, is a fight that Conor Benn would be motivated for, that he would be up for because of the name and the prestige that could bring to his resume and his boxing career and his profile in the States. Because he said he wants to go on an American tour and fight in the States. So why not? Why not fight Danny Garcia? If Eddie Hearn is as invested in as he says he is, Danny's calling for the fight. I'm sure Conor will want the fight. Offer the money up. Eddie Hearn has made worse investments as a promoter than potentially making a Conor Benn Danny Garcia fight. I actually like that fight, and I think it would be a fun fight for boxing, you know, because the thing with Eddie Hearn is, I think in Conor Benn, they got to be quick to make a big fight, because Conor Benn, I think, is so beatable that he could lose any fight. Any one of his next fights he could lose. So if they can't secure Eubank, which I know is the ultimate goal, is to secure that big domestic rivalry fight in the UK with Eubank, if they want to come to the States, I think Danny Garcia would be a great move, because if you see what's happening with PBC recently, PBC and a lot of their guys, there's not a lot of dates. Supposedly there's no budget for Amazon Prime. You have PBC veterans like Luis Ortiz and Stephen Fulton and Wilder either fighting on other platforms or complaining about inactivity. So why not? Conor Benn versus Danny Garcia? Well, I ain't the most against it. You know, I mean, normally I would be against it, but I ain't that against it, because I know Eddie Hearn's not going to put Conor Benn in there with no Virgil Ortiz or Jerron Ennis. So, because those guys are young, fresh, in their prime killers, and Conor Benn's not going to beat those guys, and the money won't be that great as compared to what it would be like if he fought like Danny Garcia, who, by the way, Danny Garcia on the East Coast, he moves tickets, he moves numbers, he's a ticket seller. So, why not? Pete Dobson gave a lot of fighters confidence to call out Conor Benn. So my thing is, hopefully Pete Dobson can get some big fights, and Matchroom does right by him. I really want Pete Dobson to fight Danny Garcia, to tell you the truth, because I know that's a fight that Pete wants, but Danny's not fighting no Pete Dobson. But I would like that fight, because Pete's no spring chicken either. Like he's probably damn near the same age as Danny Garcia. So I would love to see Pete Dobson get that shot, but that's probably wishful thinking on my part. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Conor Benn versus Danny Garcia at welterweight? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure to subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.